a little bit I want to talk about before we actually get into the tours. So those of you that are watching on YouTube, you might want to just fast forward through a little bit. First, let me put my tweet out. Okay. First things first, for those of you that, like me, haven't really been in the game as much as you would like, um, and may have overlooked some of the latest developments, the communities feature for housing is live. You can see that by looking at your random visitor tool. You can see that now you can visit folks individually or via communities. Um, I'm not going to be touring any communities right away because by the looks of it and sound of it, most are just now getting started. I've gone through some of the communities that were listed, and it was pretty clear that um, just a little bit of work has been done. I mean, it's only been up for a little while, so while those that have been planning well in advance are bound to be getting started as eagerly as possible, it's just going to take some time for them to actually put it all together. Now, I know there are a few builders that have some pre-made plots that they were already anticipating joining together, and it's mainly just a process of stitching them along the edges of the boundaries, getting them all to mesh well. But even that's going to take some time. So while I'm not going to be doing some community tours right away, the plan is that we will start mingling those in with some individual plot tours as well down the road sometime. So if you know of a community or are participating in a community build and it is complete and you feel that it's worth a visit, feel free to drop me a note. Probably Twitter is the quickest way to get a hold of me. I haven't really been active on the forums for the last few months for various reasons. If you happen to have access to my email, you can catch me that way. But Twitter's probably the quickest, or Twitch, one of the two, because I'm on those at least a few times a week. I'm just trying to catch up and keep up with everything that's going on in game and with my fellow gamers. That said, even if you have an individual plot, again, suggestions for those is always welcome. Katya, aka Faye, sent me a whole list of plots that weren't currently on my radar, so thank you for that. I told her that we would be filtering some of those in as we go. Yeah, so there's that. In addition to the release of the Homecoming update, I know there's some other stuff like some Prime rated dungeons and stuff. I didn't really read too much into it, so I don't know what all else involved. I just consider this the Homecoming, the housing update. So those of you that are housing fans, this is our update. You know, we've gotten a new communities feature. There's also some rearranging of how they do their monthly events. From what I read, it's going to be a quest that you can do for housing stuffs that used to be tied to the space chases and all that, but they're going to regularly rotate each month, I think. And so those of you that have been aching for some extras of some of those tidbits and have been waiting for those chases to come back around in the cycle, now you'll have a chance to regularly get stock up on extras of those. I think there's been some updates to Madame Faye's stuff from the cash shop. I think all of the summer stuff has been removed. I'm really not positive on that. Let's see if I can pull that up. Yeah, I know that they've got the new autumn leaves and golden ground. I guess it has leaves falling and such. There's even an April showers one that I didn't know about. So there's plenty of things that it's a sky and a ground, I think is what it is. But looks like, yeah, looks like the summer stuff, like the what do you call them? The boards, the surfboards. There we go. Those are gone. So if you didn't get a chance to grab those, hopefully they will cycle back around at some point. Um, I want to say I saw them mention that they were going to be pulling them, and that if you hadn't got what you wanted, just kind of stock up. But I noticed someone else tweeted that they were kind of upset because it was kind of unannounced that they were removing them. So maybe they will get better at kind of giving everybody a clear indication as to when things will be removed, so that those that are planning to stock up can do so well in advance. In the meantime, I just suggest if there's something that you know you want more of, or think that you might want down the road, get it while you can. There's just no rhyme or reason that I've been able to tell. I don't know if it's like they leave it up for exactly 2 weeks and then they remove it, or if there's something else that triggers it. I have no idea. So my advice is just grab what you can when you can, and just assume that it might not be there tomorrow. It's kind of sad to say that, but that's just kind of how it works. But in addition to the homecoming update release, they did announce that there is a competition that they are hosting, Carbine themselves, so it's an official one, just like their Shades Eve one that they had the last couple of years. This one is, of course, specifically directed at communities. Now, personally, I think it's kind of a tough request, because as it is, when they do the Shades Eve and the Winterfest um, competitions from the past, I think they usually gave us like a couple of weeks advance notice, if that. And a lot of people complain because while some are fast builders, most of us take at least a month, maybe more. I know some that have taken years to get their plots set up just like they want. And so I think it's asking a lot to crunch it down into such a small time frame. Um, yes, there are those that already have plots that are themed accordingly to those particular competitions, and so they can just say, hey, mine's done, and there it is. But for those that want to bring in something fresh and new, or just haven't gotten around to building a themed one that way, the time frame is pretty tight. The same can be said for the competition for the communities one. I think they're basically have given about a month uh, for basically 5 plots worth of building, because the community is, of course, 5 plots smushed together on a single uh, platform. And unless you're really coordinated with 4 other builders and you guys are working nonstop, I just have a problem seeing this come about as grandly and as in a scope that they probably are hoping. It's not that there won't be those that manage to do it and put it together, but I think they would have so many more people involved and able to participate in a competition of this sort, if they had given a longer extension of the due time. But again, that's my personal opinion, just based off of others that I've talked to. Again, many of them were talking months and years before they can get their community set up. So I guess we'll just have to hope that this isn't a one-time kind of competition, and that they will bring that back around in the months, years ahead, to give those that are really taking the time to kind of stretch out their build time to get it just like they want, a chance to participate later. If you do plan to get into it, good luck to you. Like I said, I've seen that there's quite a few communities already set up, but I haven't seen much progress as far as having the entire area built upon. It's usually I come in and it's like the center plot, and that's all it's done, and everything else is just blank. So yeah, it's going to be tight. Again, I know that there are some that have already kind of got their plots set up in a concept of having them join together. But again, it's going to be the process of stitching those pre-built plots in a way that makes sense between the different platforms. Um, I think it's still going to take a long time to get that working just right, especially with those that have used considerably oversized items to kind of cover up certain things. They're going to have to dial that back so that it doesn't bleed over to a neighboring plot, that kind of thing. So again, good luck to anyone who is attempting it. I haven't heard of any specific teams, though I'm sure there are, but I do know there's probably several that are just tackling it on their own, using alts and things like that. So yeah, I hope we see a really good turnout. I definitely will be watching for those that are listed as participants, because I hope to give some extended tours of those, especially if, you know, the winners. We'll definitely take a look at them, but I'll try and sneak in some viewing of even the honorable mentions and any others that participated, because I'd like them to get some airtime as well. We do have maintenance today. I thought I'd mention that. I think it's supposed to last about an hour and a half, somewhere around there. And so yeah, if you want to get some playtime in now, do that. You can watch this later at your leisure on YouTube. Also, a reminder for those of you that, like myself, have been kind of out of the loop and not really checking out the community system on the PTR and that kind of thing, there is a community housing guide that is in the official forums in the housing subforum. I've linked it on my Twitch channel page. It's in the resources section, pretty close to the top of the list. It is written by Thefia, and I'm really appreciative of, you know, them going through the trouble of collecting screenshots, breaking it down, um, all the aspects of it, the shared crate, entry points, how to visit a community, how the barriers work, all that kind of stuff. Now, I will say, based on what I have been reading through Twitter and some of the threads in the forums, there are still some issues with like the teleport pad. I think they described it as being slightly raised and off to the side. So it's not exactly lined up like it was originally. So like if you have a pre-built plot and then you convert it to either a community or join a community or whatever, the teleport pad is shifted a bit. There was a CRB that said that they will be looking into getting that fixed. So for those of you that have like this, a covering that's got it just perfectly aligned with how you want things hidden, you might see a little bit of the platform showing up. I would wait on making any adjustments to cover that, you know, maybe to put a temporary something over it, but I wouldn't like adjust this whole platform just to cover it, because later if they change it back to where it should be, then you'll have to readjust again, and that can throw everything off, and yada yada yada. Good morning, Poi, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. I do realize that we started a little early, but I wanted to kind of gab a little bit. So again, for those of you on YouTube, just fast forward a bit. This week we are on Entity NA. The last time we were up, we had visited Jabot, and of course I try to alternate between the regions now. And I haven't really been paying attention if we've been visiting specifically Exile or Dominion plots, but I do try to mix those in. It doesn't matter. I have access to all of that. So again, if you have suggestions for plots, it doesn't matter, faction, region, whatever, just let me know, and I'll see about trying to get to it sometime. Speaking of the last few weeks, I know I have had to cancel more and more lately, and I apologize so much for that. I have been suffering from repeated and lengthy headaches, or I guess you could just call them migraines. They hit me out of the blue, and then they last for like anywhere up to like a few days to a week, and it's miserable. The medicine the doc gives me leads to additional problems because of the side effects, and most of the medicine that she's been giving me I can only take for so long, so I get a short-term relief and then it hits back again. Today's a good day though. I'm feeling pretty okay. I haven't had to take any pills, so I'm thrilled about that. But again, I do apologize that we haven't been streaming as often or as regularly as I had intended or would like. But hopefully that doesn't continue forever. Gosh, so hopefully that. But thankfully we're here this week and we are moving on to some amazing plots for today. So the first one we are at, let's see, let me get the name. It's Juniper Shivertail's plot. It's called Crusty Bucket Catacombs. You can see that they've got the entrance pretty well closed in. It's one of those, I call it the body scanner, but I think it's something else, body analyzer or something. It's the one a lot of people like to use for like a portable shower or a porta potty, or a few have used them as refrigerators and that kind of thing. And they're real popular with spaceport kind of builds because of the blue and the animation that comes with it. So that's what they've got kind of surrounding the entrance. I'm not sure what they're using for the flooring. It looks like I don't know what it is. It reminds me of the maintenance platform, but I'm pretty sure that's a solid item, and even sized up big, it wouldn't fit like this. So I have no idea what it is. The entrance here is some of those, some kind of column, fiery something. I'm like terrible with names. I'm getting really bad. Some reinforced walls, and of course the archways and such for the tunnel. Let's see, let's just move on. I haven't really been through this entire plot. In fact, I really didn't go through either one that we're going to be touring today, so I'm hoping I will cover it all. But you can see it's kind of like I don't know if it's meant to be like an underground city or what, but it feels like that because it's completely blocked off. You don't see any sky from at least from the bits that I visited earlier. But you can see it's like a little a city town kind of thing. It reminds me of like what was it, Ember City or something. It's like underground and completely closed and kind of claustrophobic and mechanical because everybody's uh, sewage and stuff is like floating around. It probably stinks in here too. I don't know. But we will check out all of the little shops and crannies and things. Now, I may not be going into heavy description as to what everything is. I think we've repeated it so many times, it's probably getting sick from listening to that from those that continuously watch these. But if I spot something that I think is kind of unusual, or an item being used in a way that we've not seen before, I'll be sure and point those out. But like things like the neon signs for the arrow here, I think most of us are pretty familiar with that by now. The piping like this, that's from the Palaver Point Daily, where you can get some of the Red Moon pipes. It includes the one here that's oozing the sewage. There's some other straight pipes. I think there's even a pet and stuff that you can have a chance to get. So I'm just going to start and hopefully we'll hit every spot. I really can't tell you if I'll miss anything or not. It's kind of like a maze in this place. This looks like a personal residence. This is just the top of one of the bars. The one that's got all the bottles already set in, and they've just sunk it down so you only see the top part. And you turned it into kind of like a home desk. This here that they're using for, it looks like another type of cabinet. That's just the bookshelf, and they've added the spaceship window to cover up the shelving that's there. This here, they're using the Chua cup for the water spout or shower head kind of thing. This is a file spaceship door, or it's a window, but everybody uses it as a door of some sort. A lot of detail, and there's like lots of little knickknacks and trash and bits. Here's like a spilled drink. The splash of drink, that's the back side of the eye splotch. The strain eye splotch. This usually has the eyeball that moves and kind of creepy looking, and a lot of us like to use it. Now with the color shifting availability, you can change that to some other color if you don't want it to just be purple. There's upstairs. I think these are like little apartments. So this is the granite themed one. You got a lot of stone. And I don't know, I don't know why there's a door there. Wow, look at these oversized like books, like Titan sized. Oh, wait, I wanted to go into this part, the bedroom. Notice the books are being used as the bedding, the little comforter chair, which I thought was kind of interesting. I've used them as tents. They make great tents. Just take the edge of the open book and it just looks like where it's got the little curtains pulled back and everything. It's a little awkward to try and get it to match up, especially if you're trying to put the back in a little bit. But I managed to work it out eventually. I forget how many books I ended up having to use, but and this is a strange setup. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a sun tanner or like a hover relaxer. I'm not really positive on that. And then you've got the shower here. Into the final floor, I think, is here. Again, just a simple cabinet here, just 2x4s. And then they've even inset some shelves right here onto the wall. It's just metal edge 2x4s with the files for the handles. But so much detail in all the things that they've placed. And look at all the trash and all the items. Every single item is like just meticulously laid out. So it looks lived in, very lived in, and kind of messy, but not in a really bad way. Let's see. I mean, look at this desk. There's just a lot of stuff. It's one way to lay out things that you normally wouldn't find a spot for. I mean, here's like a one of the shadesy pumpkins in this. I call it the urinal, but I forget what it's called. Uh, Not an enclave. It's something else. It's close to that, but I don't know why it looks like a urinal. I think I have some kind of a weird thing for toilet stuffs. But here's this one's a bathroom. You can see it's all kind of similar, but they change it up each time. One had it straight up at the ceiling. Another one had it a little higher up with water coming out of both of those. This one doesn't have any water, and it's kind of slanted a little bit. So it's nice that they kind of make it similar items, but they change it up just to give it a little individuality for each little apartment. Okay, so that's one little apartment complex. This one here. You can actually see inside to all of them, and let's see, I guess we'll just stick to this route here. I don't want to walk off too far, though. That's the thing. Let's go this way, I guess. So again, you can see some of the bits upstairs. This one's kind of blocked off. Let's go here. These are just the metal containers, ones like you see at the harbor. Someone's got a little desk here. Looks like a little weapons container. A little bar, snack bar. These again are some of the Red Moon items. I think this comes from the Red Moon cash shop set, and this one actually is one of the pieces from the daily from Palaver Point. I think it's called the end cap. Again, this seems to be more like little businesses, like a weaponry kind of thing. I like how they're using a fin from one of the space cheeses. It almost looks like a sword, like one of those things from like Berserk or something. Morning, Flood. Glad you could join. Again, I'm not really going through details as far as, all these little, medical tables and all that. If there's something specific you want to ask about, though, be sure and pipe up, because I'm happy to explain. This is a strange little hammer bling. It's a hammer and a rocket stuck together. If you hear some noise, they're doing some chainsawing outside. I don't know how loud or if the mic is picking it up, but yeah. There's some kind of a lab, med lab. Reminds me of the tool rack I made in one of mine. I think it was on Melancholy's plot. So this is like a waiting room, and then you come in here and you get an exam or something for the doctor. Up to the next floor. So here's like another kind of receptionist desk. And I guess this is like home remedies or something from the voodoo witch doctor thing. It's a pretty clear Draken influence on some of these items. Again, meticulous placement of all of these things on the shelves. And I don't know what this is. supposed to be some kind of a goop dispenser. I don't know. And then this is the office. Got some supplies. Okay, back down. If you're wondering about the parasol, that's from the summer decor pack. Again, I'm pretty sure that's been removed from the cash shop for the time being. So here we have some vendors. You've got, looks like a taco shop. Got a Barbie from the summer uh, decor pack. Picnic tables. This one is a bone vendor, which is kind of weird, and a plant or herb vendor here. Again, some of these are from, I think this is the string lights, and the lop is from the lop decor pack. It comes with like the little lop house and a Kurg and some boxes and crates and things. This looks messy. Again, ice splotch for the purple gunk on the floor. Okay, this looks to be a laundromat, if I'm reading this right. So these would be the dryers, I guess, this way, and then the washers are over here. So they've got like bags of clothes, and you can see a few garments here. This is where they fold them. Oops, I went in there. Yeah, I went in there. Here's the little gym. The dumbbells are it's just a pillar with a couple of tires on it. We've seen others use like the sparking wires. Um, the tires are probably the favorite for the weighted parts, but I've seen, well, like this one here, they're using plates. Um, seen a few like put hammers end to end and doing it that way. I've seen like Orin windows, I think, used. Especially the one that has like the window that doesn't show on the one side, and then they sandwich them together and do it that way. There's a lot of different things you can probably use for that, but the tires are the favorite. The little boxing bag is just a sandbag. It looks like two of them sandwiched together to kind of flip it out. I like the weights on this one, just using stones. And then you have the locker slash shower room. You're wondering about the lights up here? That's the Exile chandelier, I think. Gives off a good amount of light. Okay, back down. This one here, it's one of those, I don't know what you call it, screen. It's from the decor pack that you get like one of each of the colors, and you can tell that they've used them all for this. It actually leads down to what appears to be the casino fab kit, if I'm not mistaken. And they've just built up around it and built a tunnel down to it. So all of this, if if I'm right, excuse me, comes as is for the fab kit. Hey Bones, yeah, we kind of got started a little bit early. I chit-chatted about a bunch of the update and some other things this morning, so you really haven't missed too much. Just a couple of rooms. You're good. Glad you could join though. So I'm going to show you what the inside of the casino looks like in case you haven't seen it before. Again, I'm pretty sure all of this is as is. They didn't really add anything. Um, and if they did, I probably wouldn't be able to tell anyway because I really haven't looked thoroughly at these particular newer fab kits up close and personal. So just an idea there of what it looks like. It tells you how high up this ground is compared to the actual ground level as well. If you're wondering about the flooring, that's hover park pieces. It's some of the flat floors from that collection. Okay, let's go here. This is just a little generator for, I guess, the powering of this little town bit. Just to mention this ramshackle fence, the hole here, I've seen a lot of people use it because there's actually no collision. So if you make this large enough, you can actually fall through that or go through it like a little door. At least from what I can remember, I've seen a lot of people use that in clever ways. Just throwing that out there for those of you that weren't aware. This is kind of disgusting. He's dancing in the sewage, possibly as punishment since that one's got a gun on him. I'm taking this to be like a bar or a game room. I'm not sure which is supposed to be, so let's go in here and see. I like the faux door. It's just one of the medical tables, a hammer, and a window. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be like a little bar kind of game hangout spot. They got rockets as the base of the tables, which I think is kind of different. This is a good type of bill to come to if you too are planning uh, a town or city build and are not sure what kind of things to put in all the different rooms and buildings. This might give you some ideas. Uh, you know, we've seen a laundromat and some apartments, and you know, you could add things like a post office. You know, anything that you would imagine a community would need. You know, communal places to do business and you know, a courthouse for those that, you know, break the laws of the city, a jail cell for those that are found guilty of breaking those laws, that kind of stuff. The cabinets here, I like this with the metal containers. They've got the closed one for the cabinet with the drawers being the metal crates, and then they've got the open metal containers as little cabinets up above, which I thought was kind of cute. Again, not good for those pre-made homes that have the thin walls, but ideal for those that, you know, if they're built it a certain way that the back side is hidden, it works out just right. Another little living space, some kind of a mini apartment. This one's a little bit more fancy, a little bigger. It's got its own little gym here. This screen here, that's from the Arctera area. Osun graded floor panel, I think. Very quick to get that. I think it's low on the required uh, reputation. Okay, let's see. So we went up there. 3 rooms there. Let's see. I've already gotten kind of turned around as to where the heck I'm going. There's the actual house, the prefab house. It's the Osun one. We'll save that for last. I'm just going to continue with the above ground for now. So here's like the dumpster where they put their trash, and they've got garbage all strung out. Again, the splotches. And again, if you're tired of the purple, now we have the color shifting capabilities. You can change that up to be a different shade. This is a little bit more on ground level. You can see the, I don't know what ground type that is. Looks like Osun or something plates. Let's just start here. We'll go around the edges. So here's another fab kit. It's the oh, what's that thing called? The customization fab kit. We got the clothing guy over here and the runes over here. Lots of hanging pipes and bits. Comic again written with the the neon signs. And this leads us to it's another fab kit. It's the haunted house fab kit, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the comic book shop. Again, notice all the different uses of the door coverings, the banners and such. Most of the banners have no collision, so they make great doorway covers if you're tired of using functional doors or just want something different looking, kind of like a curtain. Ugh, got a sneeze coming on. Pardon me. Anyway, if you want something even different that doesn't have collision, you could use the hanging chains. Now, I'm not positive if the newer chains, the ones that's got the little bracket on the end, if those two have no collision. I haven't really checked those, but I know for a fact the regular hanging chains don't. So they kind of look like beaded curtains. We've seen that on several plots. Welcome, Dolce. Another one which may or may not work well for doorways is the sparking wires. They don't have any collision either. It does become problematic if you're using them for like a prism bars or something. You have to add in something extra to kind of make them so that they don't allow the prisoner to just wander in and out. But yeah. So yeah, a lot of little doodads and books and things. They're even using like the Christmas card, the Winterfest card there. All of the shelving, they're using the uh, decking steps for little book racks for the magazines, or I don't know what you want to call them, the manga aisle or something. Notice they're even using some of the pictures, the portraits, as uh, books, which I thought was fun. Notice they're using a variety of different styles of bookshelves. Some are the filled ones, some they fill them themselves, others are the pre-stuffed bookshelves. A nice smattering of all of them gives enough variety. It doesn't feel too repetitive. Um, Not to diss those that have a library or such that uses the same one over and over, but this definitely makes it look a little bit more interesting. There is even a bit of color shifting going on, like with the grimoires here. They've got a pink one and a green one as well, just to give a little difference. Great use of, great time to use the travel posters because there's lots of variety in them and plenty of them to collect. These are those weapon containers, using them as closed up shelves for maybe some of the more precious scrolls and books. Little dining place for those that need to grab a snack while they're reading. Expect, yeah, this is the bathroom stall, a little on the dirty side. And then I suspect this is the personal residence of the librarian or the caretaker of this particular establishment. Look at the shower here. Now, if you're wondering about the curtain, I think that's the newer clothing item, vigilant skirt, I think is what it is. But if you don't have that, you could get away with, using some of the regular drapes. This here, I think, is the chimney, and then they've added the hanging chain to kind of make it look like it's a pool deal so that you make the water come out. Just looking to see if there's anything else that pops out as unusual. See. All of that. All right, let's see. Saw those. There's like a little collection of some precious artifacts. I think it's basically curved glass for like the tube that the items are in, and then a couple of those small portable holographic bits, um, two of them kind of end to end to make it look like it's protected by some kind of a barrier deal. They really have fun with the weapon crates. It takes a lot of planning to get, these little lead-ins to these off the cuff little places. Um, I've tried it myself in a few of my builds, and it's not an easy thing because you definitely want to check how you come back out, where you land, because there's been a few instances, like especially with the um, bunker house, I've actually put myself and gotten my character stuck because she comes out kind of weirdly, and you have to kind of pay attention to where that's the porting in and porting out. Make sure it works smoothly before you get too far into your little build. Otherwise, you may regret it. If you're wondering about this skull sign up here, that's one of those Winterfest candies from like the gingerbread collection. And I'm assuming this is a custom built kind of like Fight Club thing. There's actually a fab kit that has a boxing ring, but it's longer and has a lot of extra stuff with it. But this one's just using the Ichthian fencing on top of one of the maintenance platforms, and then hover part pieces for the benches. You just got your boxing ring and then the viewing for the uh, starts with a P. I can't think of the word. Not participants, not prospector. I don't know. Can't think of the word. Anyway, I think we can move on to the next part. Not pedestrians. It's something I can't think of the word. It's awful. Little hidey hole here. This bit here is just the mossy overgrowth covering up the entrance. If you go straight through, there's no collision on it. There's collision on the top part where the little cylinder is. Looks like a hay bale. But the grassy overhang is, you can go straight through it. I don't know what the point of getting down in here is, but I'm probably missing something, but there you go. It's just a little kind of tidy spot. These, of course, are, I can't remember the name of this bit. I think it was Protostar something or other. I've used it on like the golf course, the mini golf course is like some of the obstacles you had to get past, but those are the toxic barrels, and they're just making it look like they're stirring it. I don't know for what, if they're like some kind of like weird Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing going on, but yeah, there's a giant tub of one. Again, most of the ceiling I think is pretty much, here's an example of that purple blotch being color shifted to a red. It looks like, it almost looks like blood, which is kind of gross. And then we're back out to where we were before, so we just kind of made a little loop. So I think that's everything on the outside. Let me just check again real quick. We went to the comic shop, the candy thing. Yeah, I think that was it. So let's go back, and that leaves us with the Osun house. Now, for those of you that have seen it before, it's a really big space, and divvied up kind of oddly, so I'm not sure how they put it, put it to use in this instance, but if I remember right, it was like it's a continuation of the little city, yeah. So they've taken the divisions of the Osen house itself. It's like multi-level, and there's like little cubicles, and they've divvied it up along that line. So you've got like this little archway here is actually a full circle. It's the technophage door, and they've just sunk it down so that you only see the top half. Graded floor panels. There's a lot of hover park bits being used for some of the framing of the doors and stuff. You'll see these colored panels that we mentioned earlier being used for a lot of the the doorway screens, that kind of thing. So this first one is an arcade, using a lot of that weird arcade wallpaper stuff. It's a little hard to look at for me. Um, they made some kind of a little game out of the little, what are they called, cubigs? What it's supposed to actually represent, I have no idea. This one's got some control panels and the Exile tactical table as some kind of fighter game. You go upstairs, and here's the air hockey thing. Using a lot of the neon bits to kind of just keep it bright and colorful. This one here is like some kind of a shooter game. They're using one of the cannons as the gun. Uh, Dominion panels, screens, scanners, whatever you'll call them. I don't mention these because these are as is, the little arcade packs that you could get. But this one they actually built. It's using some of those Retros blocks, Chua panels, control panel here, a couple of them on the side, and then one of the new Macari chairs. Notice they put a red cushion bar stool inside it as well, like a double seat. These lights here, that's from the, I think it's the Red Moon light that's available on the housing vendor. Usually they're kind of long. This animation here, I think is part of one of the screens. I can't say for sure which one. I want to say it's this here, but it's not moving like that one is, so I'm not positive what screen it is, but it's one of them. It's just sunk in just enough where you just see. You can do the same thing with the Gatorade or machine, the drinks machine from ProStar. Uh, you can sink the machine in just enough where you just see the ProStar guy's emblem, kind of deal. Makes for good signs in shops and stuff. Uh, let's just go to the right here. This is the tattoo shop. It's got tats on it. Again, it's the neon signs for that. Pass through and you come into the place where presumably this is all the little pictures of the different tats you could get. You can sit here, wait for your turn. Here's the little check-in counter. This is probably medicines and stuff for those that have had their tats done and now they got little treatment bandages and stuff. This is just those metal containers. These are the garage-themed dressers, I believe. And then back here is the actual place where they get the tattoos applied. These are just Chua cushions placed on top of one of the Dominion chairs. I know a lot of people like to use those for like barber shops or hairdresser kind of things. I've seen them used as dental chairs. Works just as well with this kind of like little setup for the tattooer. Got his little tools here for different inks, I guess. Here's another one. Maybe this is where they do piercings or something. I guess this is supposed to be like the laser needle for the tattooing. I have no idea what this is all to represent, but I think it's a cute idea. I've seen several others try to put together stuff, and this is a pretty good representation of the concept of a tattoo parlor. Little restroom. Do I have myself on? Okay. Next one looks to be, what is this? Looks like a waiting room. What is he? Doctor's office, maybe? Not quite sure. Okay, got a little stuck there. Okay, this looks a little not so good. I think this is supposed to be a video camera here. It's an upside down. It's the detonator with the little plunger, and the plunger's inside here. They've got uh, the Marauder display. They've got the Merg Dynamite, one of those portable holograph deals, using some of those lights. Yeah, I don't think we want to dwell on what this is too much. He's pretty happy though. Next one, I take it to be some kind of weapon shop just based off of the sign here. So yeah, lots of weapons. Using again the weapon crates. These appear to be empty though. See, a lot of people use them as refrigerators, things like that. Notice the weapons though up here on the wall. These are all custom. This is a hammer, and I think it's a propane tank with again that portable holograph deal to give off that little like laser thing, and then the handle here I suspect is probably the handle of the zap pistol, which I think they're using for all of these for the grip. This one here is one of the, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like some kind of a cannon. It looks like a dragon kind of head, or like a boar head or something, attached onto the Zap pistol. This one's using some Ichthian tubes. I think this is the Ichthian dresser or something. This one's got a couple of the vent tanks attached to it, like a double barrel. This one's got a large vent tank with one of the butcher knives to make it look a little more intimidating. This one's got like the Chua zapper thing attached to it. This one's a Chua sipper cup, and then another one with the propane tank on top. So there's a lot of fun ways of kind of blinging out some weaponry. I've seen folks do the same thing with swords. They'll take the basic swords like the broadsword or the Draken sword, and then they'll add things to it and make it look like a really snazzy looking weapon, custom weapon, which I think is kind of nifty. Okay, so that's the weapon shop. Go this way. And it looks like paintings, portrait, Photoshop maybe. Got some examples here. The countertop is just the rope. I want to say rope bridges, but I don't think that is. The rope barriers, and then like 2x4s there. Yeah, this is where you like your passport photo. Again, they're using the same kind of deal set up, just with the little changes. Like this is a spotlight, and then they got the TV on here for the monitor. And I think this is meant to be like where they develop the pictures. And then the photographer's personal quarters. Notice the cabinetry. Those are just dressers inset into the 2x4 there. Excuse me. Oops, walking into the wall there. Kind of a grim sight seeing the coffins there, but yeah. Looks to be a local bar. So again, using those end cap pipes for tables. There's a little back room for a little powwow. No, I don't think it's Stem Dragon, Rhoda, for the gun. It looks like a boar to me, or some kind of a dragon, like a regular dragon, but probably a boar. Um, it starts with a K, I think, like Krog or something. Uh, I can't think of the word. Keeps going. Personal bedroom here, I guess. A little bit of a dungeon kind of thing going on. I don't know what these people are thinking when they put these together. Place is kind of down, and you have to get past all of this to find it, but still. Okay, so uh, the bars here. I don't remember where these come from, the zombies, but using them as NPCs. This is part of the Red Moon set, along with the stools. We've got all of these panels and lights and the fans and a few other things that come with it. Here's the little kitchen. I don't know why I keep zooming out like that. Think again, just look at all the detail, all of the things that they've placed to make it look kind of grungy and Osunhan. It might be that. I just can't think. I think it's actually something that you can craft, but I don't have that on this particular character, so I don't even think she has any professions. Kind of like a smoking sitting room deal. And well, this is a weird little viewing room for the showers, which I think is kind of odd, but there you go. Again, I'm not sure what they're thinking when they put this stuff together. What kind of bar is this? Here's your dancing pole. I guess that tells us exactly what's going on. Upstairs is kind of where you can check out what's going on below. I presume these are supposed to be like dance cages. It's actually the one with the dead canary in the bottom, and they've just put their Drake and girls up there. There's another little lounge thing. Using like, I think this is like a gate or archway, and they're using that as like part of the fireplace. Little bathroom. How cheese ended up in the toilet, I'm not sure. This one's got some glowy goop. I guess that's supposed to be like the, I don't know, the urinal or something. I'm not positive. I don't know what this is meant to represent, but they've got like the chicken with the skull on it. Grungy urban build, yeah, it does lend itself well to that, doesn't it? Somebody's little pet gnawing on the hammer there. I just like how even the pictures and stuff are like crooked and like it's really just like the most, it feels unclean. And but I don't know, a little on the sleazy side, I guess is probably the term I'm looking for. Sleazy bar. Let's see, we went there. Let's see, go this way. Here's a guy guarding something, some kind of critter back there. Okay, I think that's it for the outer city part. I mean, this is the inner city, excuse me. The upper part of the Osen bit. Now we need to go back towards the front and then go down through. Let's see, where is that? I thought there was another section. Or maybe we already went down into them. Really hard to tell because, yeah, I think the one lower area was used for the little club thing, wasn't it? Or is that up? I'm gotten lost already. That's the farthest of what we've seen and haven't seen. Yeah, that was the arcade, tattoos. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, that's the Krusty Bucket itself, the namesake of um, the plot. Yeah, I hope I got to everything. It feels like I didn't see it all, but I can't figure out where else to go. I don't remember seeing anything else. Yeah, because this led down to like the little naughty rooms there. So I guess that's it for this particular plot. So that's Juniper Shivertail's Krusty Bucket Catacombs. So the next one is actually one of the plots that Faye suggested. And I just couldn't resist going to it. We haven't been to like a spaceship, spaceport kind of thing in a while, I think. And I thought this would be a good opportunity. This is a really excellent one as well. I have noticed today that it takes a long time to zone in. So I don't know if it's some kind of lag doing in part with the communities. Maybe the addition of that has kind of bogged things down or what, but it takes a long time to zone into new plots. So just be aware of that. Grab a drink, whatever you got to do. But yeah, this one is by Oopsie Daisy. It's called HMS Icaros, and you can see that they too have covered their plot with something that's rather large, covers the entire place, and just kind of fades off into the background. I think they're using the stones. Um, I think they're the asteroid bits, the funky ones. Um, I think they're meant to cover up those barrier bits where like the little pipe is bouncing around to kind of hide the fact that this is an actual plot. So it looks pretty weird as far as how it fades off into the back. It looks cool, but it's a little stranger than I think we're used to. Usually if it's something this expansive, it's usually the white that makes it look like you're just kind of floating in the sky. But I thought this it almost looks like you're just in a lot of water down here. Notice the ship at the front. It's just one of the cryopods with a couple of spotlights, and then using those portable holograph deals, and then the Osun banners to kind of finish it off. So it makes it look like a little hovercraft. Now, I don't know what item they're using for the ground. Um, I can just say that it looks nifty. It's kind of dark bluish. That's not a real big giveaway because they could always color shift whatever it is. But I don't see any movement, but I suspected it was maybe like the upside down frost spore, but I don't see any movement on the water, so maybe not that, because I know that one actually wiggles. But from here you can get a kind of a good view of the ship that they have built. It reminds me of the Enterprise. I don't know if the Icaros name is actually from something, some kind of game or movie that I've not heard of or am not familiar with, but you can see it's pretty elaborate. There's, of course, lots of different pieces being used, like the base of it is actually one of those Winterfest emblems, I think. This part here, where it looks all segmented, that's medical tables, if I'm not mistaken. There's plates, the metal plates with the Marauder sigil there. Uh, there's the scanners, there's tanks, there's the holograph bits, the same things that they're using here, they're using up here. There's just, I don't know what all's being used, to be honest. It's there's just a lot. See if I can get a better view here. Climbing up on the tippy top. Curved glass, I think, for the little tunnel here. Um, Again, I think most of this bit and this part here is all medical tables. There's that WildStar Winterfest emblem again. Again, this is color shifted. I think that's normally blue and white, and they've kind of done it black and white to kind of make it gray. I think this part here is one of the spaceship pieces, the little wing or phalange thingy. I will have to say that this is probably the first tour we've done that actually included the black hole house, the prefab house. I think most people were dying to have it, thought it sounded cool, and just couldn't figure out what to do with it. But they're making it look like you get beamed up inside the bottom of the ship here. Now, because this is an actual emblem piece, it's not hollow, so it's just kind of the interior behaves as the interior of this, if I understand it right. But you can also go up to the actual ship itself, which we will do first. We'll leave the black hole house itself. Now, they've added smoke effects and things to make it look even more outlandish, but and of course, I think it's the red spotlight being used to kind of act as the beam that zaps you up into the interior of the bottom of the ship. But if you come over here, there's actually the the low grav pad fab kit is located underneath here, and this little portable planter that they've got sunk down into the ground is your little indicator to know where to stand. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it up here the first time. It took me like 3 tries last time, but I'm going to try and jump up onto this wing here. Yes, I made it. So we get a little more closer view of the ship itself. So again, you can see these are the medical tables. I see some ship hand lockers. These are some of those turrets, I think. This here is, I think it's one of the engine parts, the graded shelves. These here are some of those antennas, like from far side, make it look like it's joining. And then, of course, like I said, the glass tubes for the tunnel here. The doorway here, that's the coiled wire. The little hole for it, if you make it big enough, you can actually go right through it. So it makes for a great like doorway tunnel kind of deal. We've seen it in a few other builds. They're using a lot of that Osun grading and graded floor panels for a lot of the interior bits for all that nice honeycomb look. These bits here, I think, is some of that. It's either the exile lampposts or the fencing, and you're just seeing the upper brackets of it. This is one of those long green, I think it's called the Eldon antenna for the green lights. Vent tanks for some of this here. And then these are some of the new Red Moon doors. They're using a lot of those. You'll also see a lot of those scanner panels and such. So here's another one of those spacecraft that they had outside, and they just got another one here. So this is presumably the other one belongs on this docking. All right, Bones. I'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by. So this is presumably set up to look like you would go out outside, like a little port where you pop out of the main ship. So here's another one of those. Again, it's similar to the one outside. It's mostly the same design, except this one they've added a little cockpit to it. It's another one of those space chase pieces. This little bit here, all that you see, the little zappy marks, those are magnetized containers. This here is those lights, the Red Moon lights from the vendor, and maintenance platforms, I think, for these walls. We go up the stairs here. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back down here. I see that this is an actual door that you can open. So here's the cryopods, presumably for the crew for long trips. I don't know what all's in here. I see a lot of piping from the Red Moon stuff. There's, of course, the cryopods themselves. I'm not sure what the backing of all this is. I don't know if it's some of the Osun stuff or what, but you can see like there's some icicles, tanks, that kind of thing. This is like one of the Ichthian tanks, like tripled up to make it look like a broad cryo support for all of these. If we go up though, we come into, I don't know if it's part like engineering. They got a lot of these tubing bits, a lot of warning signs, some of those crates again. They're using that analyzer, body analyzer or bot analyzer, the same thing that the other one was using for their entrance. They're using it here. I don't know if it's supposed to be like little teleporters to get to different parts of the ship, or if it's like little restrooms or maybe detoxifier thingies. I have no idea. The tunnel here, I'm not sure what is being used for this. The design on it doesn't look familiar. but they're obviously using color shifting to kind of make it look different. But I can't say for sure what item they're using for that. Here's the tunnel. Get a view of the entrance here. Takes you off to the other part of the ship. Notice the doorway here. I'm going to step off of it and open it up. And that leads to a little stairway. Come down. These are the longer portable holographic ones. There's the round one, and then there's the long strip. And they're using that for the base here. Again, it's another kind of airlock for little mini ships. These are using, I think this is, honestly, I have no idea. I think it's, I want to say it's those crane dailies that you get, and they've color shifted one of them, and you just don't see the crane part up above, but I honestly don't know. Maybe it's a new item that I just haven't seen. Here's a good view of the exterior of this part. You can see they got some of the new Mordesh materials. I think there's like a chair and a table and a couch and stuff, and they're using some of those bits here. Again, lots of medical tables being used. I think these are fence pieces. The red moon lights, the magnetized containers for this. The hovering light that you see flashing, that's from one of the haunted windows. I think it's the train one. The stormy or lightning one actually flashes, and then the other one actually has it's like a car's going by a window, and I think that's what they're using here for that effect. There's a little control room for this facility. I think these are some of the Osun cryopods, vent tanks. Look at all the buttons here. A lot of it's color shifted. Like these are the Protostar windows, and they've color shifted it a little bit. And then these here, I think, are just the ends of some pillars, and then they've color shifted those to match. And this is some good use of like I think it's called the thermostat, advanced thermometer or advanced thermostat. And then they've got another panel here, and then using some of those retros blocks, kind of fill it in. Looks nice. And then here we have like a little teleporter pad, a plate, more of those weapons crates being used. Excuse me. I assume that's what that is. Maybe it's just a really big bathroom. I have no idea. Decontamination or something. Moving on. This is the Protostar platform, I think, and then they've inset the Marauder emblem. Over here you got the medical lab. That's pretty disgusting. I'm not sure what they're using for this, but they look really nifty, like little cloches of some sort. I don't know what item that is. This is the back of a tablet computer, I think. And then just a couple pieces of flooring. Presumably some other kind of teleport pad. I have no idea. The metal bits here, those are the backs of some of the portraits. These are like Dominion fencing, I think. These are, oh, it's some kind of a medical piece of equipment. It's usually got that little thing on that you stand on. And they're just using the backs of it, I think. The lights here, I suspect, are from, well, it could be hanging lanterns, but they look too even. So maybe the emergency bits, the one with the canary in the bottom. Uh, there's probably some kind of like little picture code that is to represent. This looks like personal quarters. They got their own little toilet here. Getting away with using some of the exotic bits. And then here's their little bed. It's just a shelf with one of the beach towels that's been color shifted. I think it's typically blue, and they've turned it green, and using the chua shells as a like a cot kind of thing. Nifty idea for a compact room, and making a different use of those containers. That was kind of a cute idea. And this appears to be the actual like bridge or whatever. There's like a lot of gadgetry here. I couldn't possibly tell you every single name, but like I can see some of the Macari tables, I think. Some of those lit panels that you get from the set off of the cash shop. This is the Exile tactical table. It's this and this. They're all the same. This was just inset a little bit more so you don't see the little moving screen of land. There's the ergonomics keyboard. More of those magnetized containers. The same screens they're using here, they've just made these little blocks. A lot of the seating is from the Osun bits. I don't know if it's throne pieces or what. Over here, I think it's neon signs, and then the little buttons from the early warning system deal. Some of these, I think, are the portable planters, Protostar windows, some engine parts, a lever, color shifted teacup, the gear lamp, not the gear lamp, the garage themed lamp usually has like a really long part here. I think these are the backs of portraits. Orin windows, detonators. There's the thermometer thing again. This is the Protostar digital panel, another Orin window, Protostar windows. The seats are detonators, a regular Exile chair with Chua cushions on top. These here, that's again the bottom of that, or maybe it's the top. I think the bottom has the blue buttons and the top has the red. It's the early warning system. Lots of different panel bits. Just a lot going on. They even have some on the top here. And of course, this part is part of the new Macari furniture. Medical tables, I think, and tablet computers for the base of all of these hardware bits. Little Chua pillows inset here on that throne thing. A lot to go around, lots of little details. meticulous planning and getting this all set up just so. But very worth the effort. Looks like a little meeting room, little window. Again, fun use of the weapons cabinet or container crate, whatever you call it. There's a taco in there. I guess that's okay, this is the little food place. And you tell it you want a taco and you get the little taco zap down. Okay, pardon us. Somebody's using the bathroom there. And then a couple bunks. Again, nice use of that weapons crate. We've seen it in a lot of different purposes there. The table, I think, is one of the Ichthian landing pads, if I'm not mistaken on that. Okay, so let's see, where else do we need to go? Right there. Awesome jumping. Go back. I think there's a couple more places in here that we need to go to. Okay, so went up there. I think we didn't go this way. Here is a lot of those, oh, what's it called? Toolbox, tool cabinet thing. I think that's what is this. And this here is like the back of the really long strip of red moon lamp light thing. And then you see some soul frost bits too. I'm sure there's probably more going on here, but those are things like I think this is vent tanks popping out here. More of those Eldon antennas. I think that's the back of a garage themed dresser. Here's another dining spot. Here's like a little portable kitchen. See how nifty that is? They just kind of built it inside and make it look all compact. Here's the little food distributor, drinks and snacks and stuff. Here's your shower. I forget what tank is used for those little turn handles. I suspect it's the propane tank, but I'm not positive on that. And I think these are the garden hoses. Here's the little bedroom. Nice and, oops. Let me open that again. Cozy. Again, using color shifting and a lot of the different like beach towels and sleeping bags and things like that. Another toilet facility. Another bunk bed sort of thing. Same there. I really like the idea of these little, it'd be great for like a little mini house. Use a bunch of those crates to kind of block it off and make it look very compact. See you, Flood. Thanks for dropping by. Exercise room for those in space. Looks like a little bit of a gaming bar kind of thing. A little battle deal going on here. They've got, it's basically one of those same tables, and then they've got like a Macari table set in. Uh, And I don't know what else added on there. It looks like a lot of color shifting as well has been used. Good view of the other half of the ship. Even some color shifting on the papers here, I think. This little design here, I think that's just Chua shelves that they've kind of inset smaller and smaller to make it just look like a different design. Okay, we went through there, looked at that one. I think we haven't been down here. It doesn't look like we can. Okay, what about this room? Again, kind of like engineering. I couldn't tell you what all this stuff is. I see tanks and soul frost bits, and I think this smoke stuff is coming from one of the blue flares. Looks like a chimney piece. I don't know what else. Okay, so I think we covered everything on the exterior. So now we need to go back down, which may be easier said than done. I think I'm just gonna zap. Did we get to this part, or did I miss it? Okay, that was the game room we were in before. All right. This here, I think, is one of the far side bits. I don't remember what it's called, lamp or something. Just to give you a little extra view of the ship itself. And you can see there's some red moon vents here. It's really nice. It's probably one of the better ships I've seen. Okay, let me just zap down to the downstairs, and we'll head to the interior of the interior, I guess. Because again, I think this is supposedly to pretend as if you're being zapped up into the belly of the ship. Like, I think that's a soul frost well inside part of an engine piece. And I think that's like the back of a portrait there. But this is actually the dark hole house. And then they've built this inside it. So we're now supposedly inside the belly of the ship. You can see this is the doorway back out, and they've really jazzed it up with all sorts of things. I'm not really sure what all's here. I think this is like that rotating, I don't know if this is soul frost thing or what. They've got some color shifted red moon lights. A lot of this is like a graded floor panel. You've got the it looks like parts of the Osun cryopads or pods, the spaceship windows, some of the portable planters, and spotlights. I want to say this is giant plate. You can see they kind of went crazy with the holographic bits there. This over here looks like the bricks, and then they've like color shifted some of them to make these weird little patterns. The buttons here from the ergonomous keyboard. This is that Dominion shield. I think it's typically red and they've color shifted it. I think some of this is the Osun bits from Arctera. And I think this is to make it look like we're above the planet, I think. So like here's a ship coming in or something. I really don't know. Or like you can see the outside of the ship kind of set up. But if we go through here again, we're inside one of those. I really don't know what it's supposed to be like, but the whiteness makes it seem like it's layered glass. Like this is curved glass and this is flat glass. And then they've got the graded floor panels inset. So it makes it look really bright white. It looks awesome. It's almost medical and clean feeling. But I couldn't say for sure what all the pieces they're using there. Here we are up into the upper level of the belly. So you can see, I don't know what these are supposed to be, but those are suitcases. Off to the side here, we have, looks like a little shop. I don't know if it's a bookshop, clothing shop, and then they've got like their own personal quarters here. And then it looks like they try to make it look like a view of the outside. Another little personal quarters kind of deal. Here's the kitchen. Again, mostly tablet computers. The shelving here is some of those. Again, it's that bot analyzer, I think is what it's called, or body scanner or something. And then they've inserted the metal graded shelves. This is an inset Barbie that's from the summer decor pack. This little purple mat, that's the tribal mat that's been color shifted. Color shifted some of the fruits. And then you've got that little food generator again. Another little personal quarters. The hammock is just the nautical bed. Somebody likes beer. The bathroom. Notice using some of the newer waterfalls for this one. Another personal quarters. Lots and lots of detail. There's a little bot peeking into this one. The center part, I honestly am not sure what is making this design. I don't know if it's curved walls and they've just joined it up to make it look like almost a spider web thing. Um, I really couldn't say what that is. And I guess this is supposed to be like a little port pad to go up or something. These are all those Protostar windows. Trying to see how do you get up there. Or can you get up there? Because there's like a lot of detail up here and I want to see it, but I can't figure out. Oops. Maybe these, it's here. There we go. So here's like a wicked control panel. Again, it's color shifting for a lot of the buttons. I suspect these are the ends of pillars, detonator things, and ergonomics keyboards and protostar windows. Now, I think these are sparking wires, but they're using the graded fencing to fill it in, which works nicely. If I can get up here. I don't know what all this is supposed to be. Looks like was it rock studies or something to study the asteroids. This is like bookcases being used like little weird tanks on the side here. This little control panel is pretty wicked as well. It's a lot of detonators. This cray. I don't know. Windows, keyboard. I think again that's the top of the early warning system. The lettering is books. Looks like they started to color shift and stop, so I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Tablet computers for most of this bit here. This here, a lot of that is the rusty fuel pump, I think. And some of those Retris blocks. Again, using the same bits, make it look like little workstations. Like a little living quarters up above here. This here, I think, is those fans, the ceiling fans from the Red Moon kit. And they're using it like little fans or turbine kind of deals on the panel. I have no idea what this pillar in the center is made out of. It looks like a combination of Ichthian stuff and I don't know what else. But you can see just how complex this whole thing is. There's just a lot going on. This is almost blinding to be in here. So amazing. There's just a lot. It's definitely a fantastic use of the black hole house, in my opinion. It's probably the first one I've actually seen fully integrated into a build. Usually I go in and it's just a couple of walls or just a black space. So definitely a great use of that particular prefab house. So yeah, that is the HMS Ikaros by Oopsie Daisy. Faye gave me that one as a suggestion. In fact, we've got a couple of others built by the same person, so we'll probably be visiting a couple more of them, their builds in the future. But I think that is all for today, guys. I hope you had fun. I hope you got a lot of inspiration. Definitely some interesting uses of items. You know, there's a lot of detail on the ship. notice how they weighed the difference of how much landscaping they did in comparison to focusing mostly on putting all the detail in the ship itself. I think that's one of those things you have to kind of, you know, decide on as a builder, where your focus is going to be, because, you know, you do have a limited amount of decor that you can put down. So deciding, okay, if I'm going to really go into the landscaping itself and just kind of minimize any kind of building structures and details that go into that, or if I'm going to focus mostly on, you know, the centerpiece of this plot, which is really the ship itself. And what a lovely way of incorporating that black hole house for sure. So two amazing builds, one more like a city town and another one basically a spaceship. Um, Two different approaches to their own themes. Um, Definitely, we've seen similar themes from other houses, but it's always fun to see how each one is unique in its own way. And that's what I love so much about WildStar housing. It leaves so much room for individuality and creativity.